Good Sunday afternoon to you all on this first Sunday of December. Today being December 5th, 2010, and now I haven't made a video in a couple days, but now I'm back, and as promised, I'm now going to do episode 14 of Martin Talks, which for today's film I'm reviewing, this is a film classic from 2000, and it's based off two things. You know, first of all, it's mainly based off the famous popular children's story, 1957 children's story, as written by the late Dr. Seuss. And the other thing, it's also based off the 1966 classic 1966 television special of the same name. And the title, guess, and if you know what movie this is, this movie, it's directed by Ron Howard, and released by Universal Pictures, and this is none other than Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This is the 2000 movie, and this DVD is a 2001 DVD release, which is a collector's edition. There's also a deluxe edition release, which was released later. That's also available in stores during the holiday season. But this one's pretty good. As you know, this movie, it stars as it said, stars Jim Carrey as the Grinch, which is a very good portrayal of it. That makes the Grinch have a large role. And this film, it also has Taylor Momsen playing Cindy Lou Who. Also has Jeffrey Tambor as the mayor of Whoville, and Christine Baranski as Martha May Whovier, and also having Bill Irwin as Cindy Lou's father, Lou Who, and of course, former SNL cast member alum Molly Shannon as playing as Betty Lou Who in this one. And this is a very good Christmas movie. It was released in theaters in November of 2000 and still was a big hit. And still, it's pretty good. And we have the spine and the back, and it says, an instant classic is stated by J. Carr of the Boston Globe. Oh yes, the Boston Globe, though. J. Carr wouldn't be the only one writer from the Boston Globe that would love this movie. Since I mentioned the Boston Globe, I know, wait, don't tell me, panelist Charlie Pierce would also love this as well. That's pretty good. And it has a bunch of special features on here. And also this is also one of the few DVDs to have DVS descriptive video service, which, if you know what that voice who does it, it's the same voice that you commonly hear on the PBS station on WGBH2 in Boston, Massachusetts. So, you're familiar. And it also has some things for kids. It's about 105 minutes long. And I'm going to open this up now. As you see, here's the DVD guide. It has 20 chapter selections and all. And here's the disc, which has the movie. Pretty good. Rated PG for some crude humor. And I also do have the film soundtrack as well, but I'm not going to show it to you because I only really need to show this DVD. That's the only real prop I'll use. But anyways, it also has Sir Anthony Hopkins narrating the story as well, just to let you know. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Because as you know, the film takes place in Whoville, and Whoville is just getting ready for Christmas, and we know. And Cindy Lou Who's role in this movie is a lot larger than in the special or in the book. So that's what makes her a bigger character. And with that, as it's Christmas in Whoville, and I know all the Who's are celebrating it, but somehow nearby Mount Crumpet, someone hates Christmas, and that's the Grinch. And he does his best to scare a couple Who's who are trying to climb near the Grinch's cave away. He scares them away, and it's pretty good. And then one day he decides to dress up, and he puts on a mask and wears some hood, and he sneaks down to Whoville. This is in which on that day he goes to the Whoville post office, where Cindy Lou Who and her father Lou Who are there, since Lou Who is the postmaster of Whoville, since he works there. And they do all this mail, and then the Grinch and the Max have entered the back room. Well, when the Who's find they have the wrong mail, it's because the Grinch was causing it, because the Grinch says, ha ha ha, it'll take them years to sort this out. This is his, now it's yours, and it's yours, now it's his. And then he later says, and for the rest of you, jury duty, blackmail, pink slip, chain letter, eviction notice, jury duty, all this, and then Cindy Lou Who enters the back room, and then she starts to get caught into the post, but then the Grinch actually does rescue her. Well, but before that, it leads to Cindy sees the Grinch, in which she says, you're the Grinch, says the Grinch, and then with her falling down, the Grinch later says, well, that worked out nicely. Which is pretty fun. And of course, but then once he's rescued, she says, "Don't you know you're not supposed to take drinks that are yours?" And later Cindy Lou says, "Thank you very much for saving me," which the Grinch asks, "Saving you? Is that what I was trying to do?" Which he points up his thumb and he says, "Wrong-o." Which is right. I'll say it one more time. Wrong-o. And then as the jubilation is just... And as I said, who then has the big jubilation? Of course we do. Grinch also has some time in his home. And there's also... Of course there is a little backstory of the Grinch about when he was young. It turns why he hated Christmas. Well, he had some crush on Martha May. Hey, Huvier. But anyways, after that story with the jubilation, of course... Cindy Lou Who chooses to nominate the Grinch, although the mayor doesn't want to have the Grinch nominated. But then things change, and in the end, well, Cindy Lou Who then goes up to Mount Crumpet, but she actually visits the Grinch, and she hands the Grinch an invitation to the jubilation. And all this. I like it, but of course he says, "Oh no," but when she doesn't know the Grinch first, Cindy Lou Who does say, "Maybe you need a timeout," which led to the Grinch saying, "Kids today." I don't know what else he said after that. But then after that, the Grinch, after the jubilation, of course, after Grinch gets the invitation, he first has a schedule. He says, "Over those who's inviting me down there on such short notice. Even if I wanted to go, my schedule wouldn't allow it." Then he reads the schedule of all the things and he says, "I'm booked. Of course, if I moved to Lovington 9, something. But what would I wear?" That's what he says, and he first gets on clothes. He first tries some fake shower curtain. I think, man, he tries to wear it as a dress, which he says, it's not a dress, it's a kilt, sicko. All this, there's a phone ringing, but I'm gonna continue on. So, let me continue on here. Okay. I'm just gonna continue on in a moment. Okay. Okay, as I was saying before the phone interrupted me, as I said after that, he said, "What?" And he says, "Sicko," and then of course he later finds that a lederhosen, someone's yodeling, and he's wearing lederhosen, and he takes the yodel away, and then he puts on the lederhosen. Of course he says, "Alright, I'll go. But it'll be faster than the 8. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no! Definitely not." But then he acts, "Alright, I've made my decision. I'm going!" And he goes down to the jubilation. Of course, and when the mayor makes the announcement, the award actually does go to the Grinch. But of course, he isn't here at first, but then he later does show up, and he says he's here to accept the award. But before that, he goes through a bunch of tests, including a who pudding cook-off, fruitcake fa-la-la, fudge judge, Christmas conga, well, this is a little bit out of order, but that's okay. But those were, and also the sack race, and then there's that cheer, and all this. But then, of all this, of course, the mayor does propose to Martha, but then, of course, it's ruined, because then the Grinch then wrecks the jubilation and all this, and then after that, with all the success, he heads back to Mount Crumpet. Then, after that, he starts making a good Santa Claus hat and coat, and then he he's dressed up to get ready to steal Christmas, which he then leads into his great, fantastic cover version of the classic song, "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch, you really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus and as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel." Like this, and it goes on, he sings 2 more. And then after that, he then later, of course, for that jubilation, before that when he was hanged at jubilation, there's another quote which he says, "Blast this Christmas music! It's joyful and triumphant!" Of course, Christmas then gets ready, and he heads to the house. The first house that the Grinch stops is at the Lou Who's house. He takes everything. Of course, Cindy Lou notices why the Grinch is taking the tree, but then that's okay. But then he does take it, and after all this is done, he goes to the other Who's houses and takes everything. He takes his sleigh back to Mount Crumpet. But of course, while he was building the sleigh, and during that song I've also forgot to mention, he hands a wrong side switch, which leads to the Grinch saying, "I asked for 3 quarters, not 5/8. Stay focused!" all that. And anyways, after that, with the Grinch returning, but then he has to haul the sleigh back up, and then he makes it back to the top. They first find the notice that the Who's first find that the Christmas is gone, but then there was Spirit, and they sing that Fa-Hoo-Lore song. That they noticed it was still there, and Cindy Lou Who then heads up and finds the Grinch, and then after that she actually helps save and the Grinch and all this, and then with the end the Grinch's heart changes and it grows 3 sizes, and with that the Grinch decides to head back down to Whoville with the sleigh, and of course he finally remembers and he says, "I did it! I'm the Grinch that stole Christmas!" All that. But anyways, after that he hands out everything back, and because of all of them back, they decide to spend the Who's decide to spend their Christmas day at Mount Crumpet with the Grinch, and they have their great big feast, which includes the roast beast. And it's a good, happy ending. After all, How the Grinch Stole Christmas is a very good movie, based off Dr. Seuss's book and the TV special, as I mentioned back at the beginning of this video. Very perfect. It's another good movie to see around the holidays, and it's one of the best Christmas movies that Jim Carrey has ever done, since he did a really great job portraying the Grinch in this one. And this movie is such a big success. So, How the Grinch Stole Christmas gets a perfect 10 from me, so there you go. Well, that wraps it up for my review of Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I hope you all enjoyed it, and for my next episode of Martin Talks, I will review the 1997 direct-to-video Disney classic Beauty and the Beast: The Enchanted Christmas. But until then, thanks for watching and have a good day.